This morning's opening words come to us from Mary Oliver. Don't hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise, and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is in its way of fighting back. That sometimes something happens that's better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
Love, love, love. All we need is 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 love.
Enter this space just as you are, with your tenderness and vulnerability, with your joy shining brightly, with your curiosity and longing for what's true, what's possible, what's next. Step into this moment. Let your heart open wide. Set down what weighs you, and let hope rise within you, because something new is waiting to unfold. Come be here among fellow travelers, from faces you've yet to meet, some you've known before, all ready to welcome you right here, right now. Good morning, my name is Patrick Westcott, and I serve as the chair-elect to the Board of Trustees. Leading today's service are Reverend Laura Thompson and Maureen Murphy. The MVUUF Choir is here to delight us with some song this morning alongside Lark Lewis on piano. Folks attending the service online can find the visitor form in the chat or comment section. Once again, thank you so much for joining us this morning on our continued journey. This month, we begin our exploration of the practice of joy. Let us move into this theme by reading the words for lighting our chalice together this morning. I don't see the words. Okay, I'm going to start. Even a wounded world. Oh, there we go. Even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift.
Our opening hymn this morning is number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Good morning. Good morning. We are starting a new theme. As it's April, our theme is joy. What a joy it is to be together today. We do set aside space each week to lift up our joys and our sorrows and our concerns. If you have something to share today and you're here in person, you can raise your hand and one of the ushers will come along with a microphone. And you can share on the microphone. If you're on Zoom, you can share in the chat, and they'll read that aloud here. Folks on YouTube can share in the comment section. Does anyone today have something they'd like to share?
Hi, I'm Eric, and I have a huge joy to share.
Yes.
You know what's coming. You know what's coming. My son, Leo, was born 2 weeks ago, March 23rd. after a couple days in the hospital, we came home happy and healthy. He's passing all of his vision and hearing tests. All of the blood exams, blood work went super. I don't know much about newborn care, but from what I can tell, he's been a very easy kid to take care of so far. So if he'll make me eat my words for that later. If you would like to see some baby pictures, come see me after service.
Barb Gillian and I stopped by to see Lorna this week, and you'll be happy to know that she's looking pretty good. No bruising on her face, and she had another surgery, not this last Friday, but the Friday before that, for her teeth. They're pushed back into her face from falling on her face, but she can speak now, so I'm sure she'd appreciate hearing from you.
Matthew Schneider. Sorry. Matthew Schneider. A sorrow. This week I attended the funeral service or the celebration of life for the person that was the president of my division at my work. I call him out mostly because he was a good man. He donated to employees when they had tragedies in their lives. He supported his family. He supported initiatives. He donated to charities. He will be missed in this world. He was a powerful man, powerful white man. I'm sure he had his things, but from what I saw of him, from the points that I saw with him in his life, he was a good person at the end. So may he be remembered well. Thank you.
I'm Seth. I've been here since 9 a.m. making coffee.
Yes.
We have chicken tenders, we have mango lassi, we have samosas, and we have kalakan to share with you after the service. So to all of our newcomers, welcome to MVUUF, and I hope you join us downstairs afterwards.
Tom Ellinger. I think I mentioned this a while ago, but my son was scheduled for surgery a while ago, but then he got COVID. But it is coming up this Wednesday. So if you pray, do that. If you send good vibes, do that. And if you just hold him in your heart, he and I would, and my wife Ann would appreciate it.
Hi, Leslie Swenson, and I have a joy, and the joy was yesterday when we went to First Saturday right here downstairs, and they had a speaker about brain health, which I found very important for me. And next month, remember, it's Talent Month, so if you would like to share a talent, let Kathy Eager know. She's back there shaking her hand and raising her hand. And then also, I need to, again, if you happened to speak to Mark Ritchie when he was here about the moon landing and you gave him your card, and he was going to supply you with some more information, again, he has lost that card and he doesn't know how to get in touch with you. So if that was you, let me know and we'll get you in touch.
Hi, I'm Liv. Not only is my joy yesterday's hands-off rally, I've been enjoying seeing all the news articles that feature Minnesota. My favorite is at the very bottom of a BBC article. There's a picture of St. Paul.
Hi. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Leslie McNeil, and I have a joy. A while ago, I mentioned to you the concern I had about my family and my inability to see my grandson, and I have to say I finally saw him on Friday, and he got together with his younger cousin and me, and we had pizza and watched a movie, and they laughed so much. I was really anxious and awkward, but then I just thought, you know what? They're having a great time. They're laughing. I'm good with that. Despicable Me 4.
I'm Mimi Law, and I have a joy, two joys. My niece is flying in from Colorado for work, and she's going to stay with me Monday and Tuesday. And then my son and 9-year-old daughter are coming, I think, the following Sunday in the afternoon, I think. They haven't told me really. But for a week, for a spring break. So I'm looking really forward to it. Hi, I'm Kathy Eager. Over 10 years ago, Beverly Schmidt and I did a video of our founders that were remaining. Betty Gutman, Alan Helen Hyman, and Luella and Red Nordstrom. We spent over 300 hours on this. David Olson interviewed them, and David Breeden, and we made a video after 300 hours that lasted 22 minutes. And Richard has it on our website. If you look under About Us and go to History, it's right there. Thank you, Richard.
I have a joy this morning. My parents have been visiting from Ashland, Wisconsin this weekend, and today is my mom's birthday, so happy birthday. I won't say how many years old, that would be up to her, but I'm glad that they are here today to join us.
Good morning, I'm Carla, and I have two joys. One is that, for those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Venezuela. I'm 100% Latina, and for the first time in a decade, I got to go back to the Caribbean. We went to Dominican Republic, took the kids, ate delicious food, was able to introduce my family to a culture that's very similar to mine, hung out with a high school friend. I mean, and spent a lot of time in the water. It was, oh my gosh, it was so fulfilling, and I'm still tingling. We just got in last night. And another one, my second joy, is that I am on the planning committee for Bloomington Pride, which is the third Sunday in June this year. And it's very exciting. There's a lot going on. They're still looking for sponsors, for vendors, for volunteers. So if you want to get involved, please come see me. I am more than happy to give you all the information and get you hooked up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marcy, and I had slid a little like some folks into not always listening to the news because of the disheartening stuff every day that was coming about. But I'm happy to say I didn't have, I only had the main channels before, but now I was able to get MSNBC, and Rachel Maddow is on at like 8 and 11. She just really puts together the news so good as far as understanding that this and this equals this. And the exciting thing for last night or yesterday's stuff was that so many people are out there protesting, because she always says this is not the time to put your head in the sand, that we really need everybody. And I was at the we're not just a women's group anymore, first Saturday. In fact, we had 3 men there yesterday, so it's picking up. And anyway, it was, there was a couple protests that people were offering rides to from here after, and it's just exciting how there's just thousands of people making their concerns known, and plus there's extra wins in the court that are finally starting to happen too. So very exciting.
Can we just have a show of hands or stand up, who was able to make it to any of the marches yesterday here? Thank you so much.
My name is Ruth Keeley, and I have a joy that I live in the building I live in. We're a senior building, and we had a lot of people go down to St. Paul, And the rest of us that couldn't, we formed a group and walked down 66 with our signs. So I was really happy to live where I live.
Hi, my name is Yamini. So on the note of what Carla shared for Bloomington Pride will be a June sharing partner to raise the funds.
Well, I'm sorry. I suppose the fact that Pastor Laura had us raise our hands so we would stop giving updates about hands off. That was the reason why I missed first Saturday, because I was actually volunteering there. And I had to leave early to take Antonio to a birthday party. Well, that didn't exactly happen because there were so many people, I could not get out of the area. That is awesome.
I'm Chad. I have been your ministerial intern for several months, will be for another about 3 months. I had my interview yesterday with the Ministerial Fellowship Committee, which gets to decide if I get to stay being a minister or if I've just spent 3 years in seminary learning really cool stuff, which I had. So the answer was yes, I get to be a minister. There's a little bit of work they want me to do, but once I turn in some papers in the fall, I will be a preliminarily fellowshipped Unitarian Universalist minister. You all have helped me get there. I cannot thank you enough.
Chad, was there anything in the box? No. Richard, anything online?
Let's see, where to go? Myra was obviously at the rally. She said she was happy to be a participant and excited to see the great turnout of Hands Off at the state capitol. Carolyn wrote, Mankato student detained by ICE is in Albert Lee Jail. Rally next Thursday at 6 by the courthouse. And Myra says, congratulations, Chad. And for my 2 cents worth on Hands Off, I had my maiden voyage on the light rail from Minneapolis to St. Paul. Happy to report that from like 11:15 to at least 12:45, maybe 1, every train was full going over.
Yep.
Fantastic.
My joy this week, I did not make it to the Capitol rally on Saturday because I was at a 2-year-old's birthday party, so that was wonderful, little tea party. But I was at the Capitol earlier this week. I delivered a prayer for the opening session of the state legislature. If you want to see that, I posted the video on our Facebook page, and it's in the weekly email. It's the second time I've been asked. It's a great honor to be able to be a part of that. And just so you know, they ask people of all faith. I think it was a Sikh person that was maybe going to be there the day after I was. They don't have a staff chaplain anymore, so it's always somebody from the community that comes in and does that. So what a wonderful way to participate in our democracy this week with rallies, with prayers, with everything we can bring of ourselves to that. We lift up these joys and sorrows that have been shared here among us and those that remain in the sanctuary of our hearts, and I'll ask you all to join in our sung response. I did see a prayer that was shared on Facebook from somebody named Jennifer Doran, whose profile is private, so that's all the information I have. But somebody had shared her post, which was a prayer for the hands-off protesters yesterday, and I adapted a little bit so that it could be a prayer for us after the rally yesterday. She offers these words. Divine light, source of justice, peace, and truth, God, beloved universe, however we each connect to something higher, we ask for your presence. We lift up every person who works with courage in their heart, for women, for the LGBTQ trans community, for Black and brown lives, for veterans, for immigrants, for kids who need special education and school lunches, for the right to bodily autonomy, for dignity, for freedom, for the kind of country we want our kids to grow up in. May our voices rise strong and clear. May our hands, whether holding signs, each other, or simply held open to the sky, be powerful tools of healing and change. May we remain safe, body, mind, and spirit. May we remain peaceful but strong. May our message reach not just those in power, but the hearts of everyone ready to wake up and join us in the work of creating beloved community. Give us the strength to keep going. Give us clarity in our work and compassion that stays true even in the face of resistance. May we remember the words of John Lewis, never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. This is good trouble. This is necessary trouble. This is holy trouble. And may we be inspired by Cory Booker, whose words, presence, and steady moral compass reminds us that we can be fierce and kind at the same time, that love and justice belong in the same breath. So may this protest spark a wave. May the energy ripple far and wide. May we continue to raise our voices in the names of love and justice. And may the world we're fighting for draw closer with every breath and every step we take. Amen. Folks, this is a busy place. Some things that are going on this week include midweek centering. That's Wednesdays at 5:30. Just a little meditation to give you some pause and centering in your week. Thursday morning, you can come here for conversation at 11. Greg Kirkwood leaves that. That's just a listening, support, hangout time. Check that out. Second Thursday group is meeting, formerly known as Men's Group, is meeting this Thursday evening at 7. The speaker will be Jenny Kedward. She is a food waste prevention specialist for Hennepin County. This is a great way, another way for us to think about food waste in terms of climate justice. So it's a very important topic. So if you're around, check that out. That's on Zoom at 7. You can see the April Unison for login information or email John Peliquin. Then it's crazy here today. This is what's going on after the service. So pay attention if you're supposed to go to one of these places because all the rooms are taken. The Social Action and Racial Justice Committee are meeting in the conference room. Starting Point, which is for newcomers, so anybody that's new in their journey here who hasn't attended one of these meetings, we welcome you to come and learn a little bit more about us, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about you. That'll be in the fireside room, forenamed for the fireplace, after the service. We have a new group that's starting. Anthony he's over there. Anthony is wanting to start a chapter of CUPS, which is the Covenant of UU Pagans. So if you have some earth-based spirituality leanings, some pagan interest, you can join him downstairs. The name of that group is Spirit Grove. That will be in the youth room, which is downstairs after the service. By the way, these 3 groups that I mentioned, this is when they're starting, about 15 minutes after we're done. So go get some of the yumminess that Seth described and the nice hot coffee that's waiting for you and take that to whatever meeting you might want to go to. And also, there is an artist reception that will be up here in the lobby as well after the service. I think that starts at noon. I heard there's going to be a mandolin player up here, 2 mandolin players. So there's a little music. There may or may not be some refreshments up here as well. There might be, but I don't know, so you can bring it from upstairs. Anyway, there's lots going on, and there's plenty of snacks to keep you nourished while you maybe engage in those things today. And we have 2 more announcements aside, so I'm going to invite in order somebody from the auction committee, and then Doug Bruce has an announcement as well.
Internship is downstairs also.
Oh, and one more thing. Oh, you guys are in the classroom.
Yes.
Classroom next to the hallway, long hallway bathroom.
Hi, I'm Jean Danko. Our service auction is next Sunday, right after the service. If you're new to the service auction, it's pretty much like any other silent auction you've ever been to. We have a lot of bid sheets out for a lot of good items. We have tickets to the Science Museum or St. Paul Saints game. We've got a lot of different kinds of dinners, Venezuelan, Mexican fiesta, dinner and a movie or dinner and games. How about a walking tour of the Minnesota State Capitol with Mark Ritchie? And then we have a section of help wanted. Can you help with yard work, window washing, installing a backsplash? Some of these things I think would be very good for the youth group. And maybe they could get some of their volunteer hours in. All of it helps MVUUF. It'll be over probably by 1 o'clock at the latest, or you can leave whenever you're done. We'll have kind of lunch-sized snacks, some meatballs and little sandwiches and fruit and vegetables. Excuse me. We have raffle tickets. The raffle prize is half the pot. Whatever money we collect for the raffle, you get half of it. We get the other half. And then we do have admission. We ask for a $10 admission, one price, $10 for the family. If you can buy your tickets this week, it'll avoid a lot of confusion next week. The catalog will be emailed to you this week with all the instructions and everything that's going on. And if you cannot make it, absentee bidding is also available. Please come, we'd love to see you.
I'm Doug Bruce, and Steve Danko and I were asked by the board to come and tell you about the Hannaful Foundation, the Hannaful family. And we have a letter downstairs that we're asking everybody to sign, because I'm going to tell you why we need to sign it. It's a letter of thanks to the Hannaful family for their support of our fellowship. That support has created today and made tomorrow possible. When I was the board chair and Carla Reese was the chair-elect, we met with Carrie Hannaful and spoke about the availability of the house next door to the fellowship. And we thought it would provide us with some value. While we did not have a specific plan for the use of it at that time, we felt it was critical to our future. It could create income, it could be used for programming or housing a minister, as well as other possibilities. The Hannaful family responded by buying the property for our use and our benefit, with the understanding that we would have a chance to purchase the property from them in the future at a below market rate. When that time came, we were able to purchase the property with a small mortgage. During this time, we continued to rent the property and retain the profits for the benefit of the fellowship. Now, with the help of an anonymous donor, we have paid off that mortgage, made improvements to the property, are renting it at a higher rate, and have no debt. This is only one of the reasons that we owe great debt of thanks to the Hannaful family. As we were approaching the deadline of being able to purchase this, Steve and Eva Mock were meeting with the Hannafuls, and they mentioned that they had given growth grants to causes they felt were important to them. They responded. And they responded to our request for $100,000. And the money was used in 3 different ways. It was used to help us with staff. Secondly, it helped us by getting people in to come from the UUA to help us understand where we were as a congregation in our growth pattern and how to position ourselves, not for that, but the future. As well as we created an opportunity for Richard to step forward and do his wizardry with all of the technology that we have. But in my opinion, without that technology, during the COVID period, we'd be dead in the water. Huge, huge. So easily the Hannaful Foundation, the Hannaful family has done it again. They've invested over $250,000 in us. Because of that, now it's our turn to say thank you. And that's why you need to sign downstairs. Don't sign in columns. There are multiple colors. Show some energy and vibrance there. I mean, so we need to say thanks, and it's time for us to invest in ourselves. And what do we want to become? The Hannaful's support does not secure our future, but it gives us a chance to have a future if we're willing to create one. To do so, we need your financial support, as you are able. We also need your time and your brains. We are uniquely positioned today to move into the future. We have a financial foundation, resources of people, growing membership, and technology to build in this new world. We're forming work groups to see what the congregation wants to grow into and sustain. We are seeking a new minister who can, with us, take us to the future we want for ourselves and our community. To step into that possibility, we need your financial support, participation in the process, so that it reflects the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion that are core values of Unitarian Universalists. So, please, sign the letter.
Thanks, Doug. This is the last time I'm going to talk about the pledge drive because we really need to turn the corner and start working on the budget for that pretty soon. So if there's a couple dozen people, I think maybe, that haven't handed in their pledges yet, if that's you, will you please get those in so finance can start working on the budget for next year? Thank you very much. If you were so inspired by Doug's speech that you feel like you need to invest a little more, there's still time to increase your pledge. Just put that out there. And then the other way that you can give is through our Sunday sharing. So each week we split the pot with a community organization in need. So half the money goes out the door and half of it stays here to help with all the things that we need finances to support here. There's a couple ways you can give. The ushers are going to come around in a minute with baskets. You can also click on the QR code that you'll see up behind me, and that will take you to our giving page. Just so you know, what I did, you can click on that QR code and just, if you're a regular member here, you can set up giving like once a month on there. That's what I did, because it's one and done. So that's a good way to do it as well. Our sharing partner, we have a new sharing partner this month as we start a new month, is the Joyce Uptown Food Shelf. Their mission is to distribute food to those in need with respect and dignity. And I want to just talk about their need, because they have great need, because this is how many people they served last year. They served 63,000 individuals, over 18,000 households, 4,000 first-time clients, and they distributed over 984,000 pounds of food. So they're busy folks, and our dollars and contributions are like a vital source of water to the seeds and bulbs that are currently waiting to sprout from the ground and bloom. We're keeping folks and communities vital. So thank you for your generosity, which cannot be separated from that which sustains life and beauty and joy. Will the ushers please come forward?
Today's reading comes from the blog, The Marginalian by Maria Popova. Choose joy. Choose it like a child chooses the shoe to put on the right foot, the crayon to paint the sky. Choose it at first consciously, effortfully, pressing against the weight of a world heavy with reasons for sorrow, restless with need for action. Feel the sorrow. Take the action, but keep pressing the weight of joy against it all until it becomes mindless, automated, like gravity pulling the stream down its course, until it becomes an inner law of nature. If Viktor Frankl can exclaim yes to life in spite of everything, and what and everything he lived through, then so can any one of us amid the rubble of our plans, so trifling by comparison. Joy is not a function of life free of friction and frustration, but a function of focus, an inner elevation by the fulcrum of choice. So often it's a matter of attending to what Hermann Hesse called, as the world was about to become unworlded by its first global war, the little joys. So often those are the threads of which we weave the lifeline that saves us. Delight in the age-salted man on the corner waiting for the light to change, his age-salted dog beside him, each inclined toward the other with the angular subtlety of absolute devotion. Delight in the little girl zooming past you on her bicycle, this fierce emissary of the future, rainbow tassels waving from her handlebars and 100 beaded braids spilling from her golden helmet. Delight in a snail taking an afternoon to traverse the abysmal crack in the sidewalk for the sake of pasturing on a single blade of grass. Delight in the tiny new leaf, so shy and so shamelessly lush, unfurling from the crooked stem of the parched geranium. I alone can weigh the blue of my sky, you of yours.
So as we move into this theme of joy, I invite you to explore with me today the profound role of joy in our shared lives. Celebrations and collective expressions of joy have the remarkable ability to unite and inspire us. This, by the way, happens not just for humans, but other species too. Observations of animal behavior reveal that elephants and chimpanzees also engage in communal celebrations that strengthen social bonds and foster cohesion within the group. So we are hardwired to seek and create communal joy, not merely for pleasure, but for the betterment of the communities that we belong to and that we build. In times of struggle and uncertainty, however, joy might seem like a distant or even frivolous pursuit. But as we delve deeper, we discover that joy is not only essential in our well-being, but it's also a powerful form of resistance against oppression. So let's talk about this role of oppression and joy. When it comes to oppression, joy is one of the first things that the oppressor will try to take from you. Throughout history, we have seen case after case of regimes suppressing expressions of joy. This is because the joy that we share does indeed galvanize communities and inspire change. It brings us together, it unites us, and that can be a dangerous thing to an oppressive regime. During colonial times, European authorities frequently forbade indigenous rituals and celebrations, understanding that these gatherings could foster unity and resistance among Native peoples. The former Soviet Union banned rock and roll as a means of eliminating Western ideas of freedom. During the Cultural Revolution, under the rule of Mao Zedong, museums were destroyed, while religion was banned, alongside literature and music. Anyone violating these bans was subject to violence, imprisonment, and even death. In the post-slavery era, the islands of Trinidad and Tobago became a cultural mecca, blending influences from Africa, India, China, and the Middle East, Spain, France, and England. This rich diversity added a lot of flavor to the local music scene, with African drum sitting front and center. However, the British colonial rulers at the time weren't fans of this rhythm-filled rebellion. They saw it as a threat to the status quo and made several laws to suppress many indigenous and Black musical expressions, banning drumming music in the late 19th century. But the locals weren't going to let the music die. They got creative, turning bamboo sticks into an instrument called tambu bamboo. They also used boxes, frying pans, dustbin covers, and bottles to use as instruments. And many of these are still used in their music today. But after a rough and rowdy carnival celebration in 1937, even many of these handmade musical instruments were outlawed and banned. So what did the people of Trinidad and Tobago do? They turned to the junk that was left behind by the US military bases in World War II, oil drums to be exact. With a bit of tuning and shaping, these old barrels found new lives as the steel pan drums that we know today. So joy is a necessity, and necessity is the mother of invention. Do I have a video here, Richard? Yes. There we go. Little music break. I mean, it's joyful, right? And it feels so relaxing, pulls you into that like Caribbean, relaxed, chill kind of scene. And what else is it? It's absolute resistance to oppression, right? We know that oppressive systems often dehumanize marginalized communities, reducing individuals to mere symbols of their struggles. In such context, embracing joy becomes an act of reclaiming our full humanity. It serves as a declaration that we are more than our pain and our challenges. We are capable beings of love, laughter, and fulfillment. For the last 8 years, there's been a Black Joy celebration in Oakland. The celebration is centered around a Black Joy parade, but it also includes other events like music, comedy, stage, shows, art, lots of barbecues, all kinds of great things that are going on. This celebration is not only in defiance of systematic racism, which has always sought to suppress Black joy, but also other forms of social oppression that plague that area: crime, addiction, and poverty. Suppression of the LGBTQ community, and especially the trans community right now, are on the rise across the country. Pride is another celebration where joy has been used as a tool to counter oppression. Pride has always been just as much a protest as it is a celebration. It uses fabulous glitter joy to proclaim we aren't going anywhere. Black joy and pride show that expressions of joys can subvert the expectations imposed by oppressive structures. By choosing joy, we challenge the narratives that seek to confine us to roles of perpetual suffering or to be subjugated as somehow less than others. This disruption is a powerful form of resistance, asserting our right to experience and express happiness despite the circumstances designed to suppress it. So we include joy in our activism because we're entitled to it and because it's a useful tool. And also because activism is demanding and can lead to burnout if it's not balanced with restorative practices. Integrating moments of joy into our activism replenishes our spirits and enhances our resilience. Without joy, resistance can only be sustained for so long before it falls apart. Joy acts as medicine, keeping us resilient, inspired, and motivated to continue the work. So let's talk about joy as medicine against oppression just a little bit too. Oppression, characterized by systematic discrimination and subordination, can lead to significant stress and mental health issues in the person who's being oppressed. They have increased risk of depression, anxiety, PTSD, addiction, and high blood pressure, as well as negative impacts in their overall well-being. A lot because of chronic stress results in release of cortisol, that's that stress hormone. And when that's elevated, it contributes to inflammation and all sorts of other health problems. We all know, right? Stress is not good for us, whether it's systematic, job-related, family-related, it's not good for us. But joy can reduce stress by triggering the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These promote feelings of calm and well-being, and it lowers those cortisol levels. Feelings of joy have positive benefits as well to our circulatory, nervous, and immune systems. Joy is basically a necessity to our well-being. So embrace joy, seek joy, and co-create joy. Employ joy as a part of your overall health care and absolutely include it in your role in our mission to build a better world through love and service. And I'm going to give you just a few tips on how to integrate joy into your justice work, or your activism, or your committees, or whatever it is that you're doing these days to live out that building a better world component. One is that acknowledge that joy is integral to your activism or your work. Make sure you're including joyful things in your work. 2, celebrate small victories. Take time to acknowledge and celebrate any little progress that you're having, right? The big goals are really big goals, and they're very far off into the future, many of them, but we have small goals here today. Do check-ins in your little groups, and you can celebrate each other's joys and victories. 3, engage in communal activities. Participate in community gatherings that foster connection and joy, like Pride and Juneteenth. And even parts of that rally yesterday, though it was protest, I'm sure there was a lot of joy to be had there in being in solidarity with all of those folks. I'm sure there was music. I'm sure there was laughter. I'm sure there were cute kids with poignant signs. All of that was there, right? 4th, make sure that you're incorporating creative expression. Utilize art, music, dance, other forms of creative expression. Our social action team recently did this when they showed the film Will and Harper, which was both poignant and hilarious, right? There are ways that you can incorporate art and joy into your work. Please make sure you're doing that. Otherwise, it gets into stuffy committee meetings that go on and on and on. And I don't know about you, but I need a break from some of that stuff sometimes. I need a little laughter, and I need some creativity and some fun. Oh, what was that reminds me, we did that improv at the board retreat. Remember that? Yeah. We did find joy in that. Thank you for Kathleen for pushing us all to do improv. Do things like that. And finally, make sure that you're practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Start your day with a promise to yourself to be open to joy, and then pause and reflect on those. If you start with that intention, you'll have an easier time seeing joy throughout your day. At the end of the day, maybe check in with your partner or share something with a friend on text, something that brought you joy throughout the day. Just paying attention to it, I guarantee you will see more joy because you'll start looking for it, because it's everywhere. It's like pollen right now. It's just everywhere. Joy provides us with glimpses of the world we're striving for. By experiencing joy, we embody the very essence of the society we aim to build, reinforcing our commitment to the journey ahead. In the face of injustice and adversity, choosing joy is a radical act of resistance. It sustains us, unites us, and empowers us to continue the vital work of creating a just and equitable world. Let us embrace joy not just as an escape from reality, but as a profound affirmation of our humanity and a testament to the world we envision. May our hearts be filled with joy as we continue to forge this path together. Blessed be and amen. Friends, I'm going to ask for your joyful attitude in our closing hymn, which is 327, Joy Thou Goddess. Our piano goddess over here, who's always got such a joyful expression on her face, last week played 2 different arrangements of Ode to Joy by the great Ludwig van. And they were amazingly terrific. And we know Lark plays wonderful things for us all the time. And I thought, well, here she's going to, do a much toned down accompaniment version of this. But we, in return, can sing it with joy, dedicated and directed at her. As a thank, I just thought of this. I was like, we should just put it up. So it's for you, with gusto, 327, Joy Thou Goddess. Gratitude. We're expressing joyful gratitude. Will you all please join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Folks, I'm going to put this book that I wrote all the joys and sorrows in down on the carrying card station downstairs. All of the things from the last however many weeks are written in here. So if you wanted to send a card along to somebody, all you need to do is grab a card off the table and write their name on it, and we'll put the address on it and get it to them. I want to close with these words from Rabindranath Tagore. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy.
strong.